Hello everyone, this side Ayush from Invent Model. Now I'm going to cover the remaining topics that are left from the previous session. So the agenda of this meeting is once, yeah. So agenda of today's presentation is to cover these following topics. What is trust and what are the different trust decay type we have? And the second point is how to import the data in Customer 360 and explain all the stages. So first point is what is trust and what are the different trust decay type we have. So as we know, we have covered in the Informatica MDM on-premises as well that trust basically is a measure of the confidence that users and system can have in the quality, accuracy, and timeliness of the data. So it basically measures the confidence value, like how much confidence we are on the data that we are getting from the multiple sources. So it is a way to indicate whether a given record can be relied upon for making business decisions. So because as we know that in Informatica MDM, we make golden records. So for golden records, we need uh, maximum trust value. So we need to have the record which have maximum trust value. So for that, we need to define the trust value. So trust is built from several factors. So we can define trust on the basis of several factors, including data source reliability. So data coming from authoritative or well-governed sources usually starts with a higher trust score. So if we are getting the data from authoritative source like Salesforce, CRM, or if we are getting data from admin. So in that case, we assume that our data is having the maximum trust value and data quality. So for a maximum trust value, the data should be highly clean and it should not be duplicate. It should not be duplicate, and it should be validated as well over the different factors. Timeliness. So whichever data is coming, if it is up to date, so that will be considered more trustworthy. And the fourth point is validation and governance. Ongoing data stewardship and quality checks help maintain improved trust over time. So the next is decay type. So decay follows a pattern in which the trust level decreases during the decay period. So through this we can define that how our value will trust value will decrease over the decay period. So we have following three types of graph uh, through which we can define how our trust value will decrease over the period. So first one is linear. So in the linear, it is the simplest decay. It in this graph type, decay follows a straight line from the maximum trust to the minimum trust. And the second one is rapid initial, slow later. So in this type, the value will decay in the starting very rapidly, and in the later it will slow down. So then a new value from the system will probably be trusted. And the third one is slow initial and rapid later. So most of the decrease occurs toward the end of the decay period. Follows a convex curve in this graph type. If a source system has this graph type, it will be relatively unlikely for any other system to override the value that it sets until the value is near the end of its decay period. So in this graph type, the value will decrease slowly in the initial period, and in the later it will decrease in the rapid pace. So how to configure trust values in Business 360? So we can implement following steps for that. So first of all, in Business 360 we have to create business entity, and then we have to configure survivorship tool through which we can define which records, if we have multiple records for same entity, so which record should survive based on the rules. So what is survivorship? So survivorship is configured to find the best version of records. As we say that if we have multiple records of the same entity, so which record should take in the part of golden record. So for that we define survivorship. So it can be configured at the individual field or entity level. So for each field, like each column or attribute, we can define survivorship rule. And the other team members have also explained this. So before configuring survivorship rule, we need to define two things. One is source ranking, and the second one is rules. So in source ranking, we can define that the data which is coming from multiple source. So which source is the will be the highest, will be given the highest priority. So if we are considering that we are getting the most reliable data from this source, so we can give that source the highest ranking. The rank of the source system can be defined according to the reliability of the field. For example, if you want reliability for full name from source system SV, then it can be ranked highest for this field. And then we have the second point, which is rules. So there, there are three rules to define for trust value. So it can be added, deleted, or edited. The first one is decay. So it indicated the rate at which the trust level will decrease over a period of time for a particular field. So it can be configured separately for different source systems. Like if we have multiple source systems like CRM, Salesforce, EDW. So for each source system, we can define different decay rule. And then the second one is maximum. So through maximum, we can define the maximum test value for that field. It depends separately for different types of fields. For example, if it's a text field, then it will sort in the alphabetical order. That is maximum value will be given according to the alphabetical order. Also, uppercase letters will be given maximum value than lowercase value. So, like if we have a country name, so we prefer that if country name starts with capital letter, so it will have maximum value. And then the third rule is minimum. So through this rule, we can identify the trusted value based on the minimum value of the field. So not applicable to a business entity and field groups. The minimum trust score that the source system can have. It could be less than or equal to maximum value, but it cannot be greater than the maximum value. So this was all about the first point. Now the second point is how to import the data in Customer 360 and what are the stages to implement this. So for importing the data in Customer 360, first of all, we have to go to file import section, and there we have to click on upload file. Then from there we have to upload our file, and we have to define from which source we are getting the data. For example, in this image, we can see that we are getting the data from the SRC underscore sales. So after defining the source, now we click on next, and then we go to map fields. So here, all the attributes that we have defined on our source, we map to the existing business entity. So all the business entity that will have certain fields. So we map those fields with the uh, source fields. Then we click on next to preview and import the file. And here we have to save the mapping that we have created in the previous stage, and then we have to import. So after importing, it will run the job, and we can see the job in the My Job section. And this is all we have to follow to import the data from any source to Customer 360. So thank you. That's all from my side.